Well, I've been doing a little work on the mini camelback. As you can see, I've been cleaning some parts. You can compare that to that ugly black mess that they've put on there. Actually, quite a bit of rust under this paint too. I've got the Idler pulley in the lathe, but you just see all the gunk that came off of those pulleys, and that's in the process of being cleaned up now. Got the handle sitting over there on the lathe. I'm going to do that too pretty soon. Yeah, you see my fingerprints all over it. Here's the counter shaft. It's real nasty and kind of buggered up, you know. Somebody, when I got this press, drilled and tapped this hole in the back and drilled there and ground it out, and they had a grease cup on there. Well, this is meant for oil, not grease, so that's the source of much of that damage and wear. You see all the scoring. Luckily, I have another piece of nice ground shafting that I pulled out of a old washing machine. I've already used it for a couple other projects, and that will be a perfect replacement. It's a little mess up on here, but that doesn't matter. That's going to be cut off. Tiny amount of wear here, but you know, you can't even feel that. That's just visual, so that's fine. I didn't try to measure it. I don't need to because I can't feel it, so it'll be all right. So we'll get back to work here. Just cleaning up the bits and pieces and purdying it up. And, you know, I think the fellow who quote unquote restored this, I don't think he ever bothered to take it apart to, at least maybe not past taking the table off of it and whatnot, but I think he just masked it and painted it all one piece, you know, because man, there's you know, you see I didn't clean the inside of this, but there's a lot of old gunk in there. And actually over here on the idler pulley, you can see all kinds of gunk in there. I scraped some of it out earlier. Let's see if you can. Anyway, yeah, that's actually in the casting. But anyhow, another interesting thing I noticed, this has a bearing port in it, in the idler. So, back to the grindstone. When you're doing work like this, it's good to keep your fingers all together. That way you know where they all are. You don't want one to get caught, you know, someplace it doesn't belong. Also, you should never wrap the paper around the lathe. And of course, this chuck here and that chuck there are now contaminated with grinding dust, you know, so they're going to need to be completely cleaned, as will much of the rest of the lathe, before any further use after doing this. Well, we'll sand this down a good bit. And then we'll hit it with a wire wheel. And it's going to look good. It's going to look as good as new. I like to sand the parts first with the emery and that takes off most of the scale and things like that, because the wire wheel won't always cut that. And the emery will leave an okay finish, but if you sand down your parts first, and then you take them to the wire wheel does a really nice job with just a little bit of oil on the wire wheel. It does a really nice job of polishing these cast iron and steel parts. Just a little quick tip for you. But look at that. Bad lighting in here, but that just looks great. Alright, so we've got this counter shaft all cleaned up. I just put it back together because I didn't feel like doing this tonight. It's getting late, or rather early, about 1 in the morning. But, you see I did some polishing here on the shaft, or the column rather. And this is how your pulleys should look. They should be clean, free of rust, and no paint like is on this upper pulley right now. It really, really irks me when people friggin' paint stuff that is not supposed to be painted. Like when I got this drill, this shaft had been painted, and you see I